Everyone, welcome to Office Hours. My name is Ariella Coombs and I'm a career coach here at Work Daily. And I'm super excited to spend the next 30 minutes with you answering your questions about your career, job search, anything related to your professional goals. So super excited about that. And then I always kick off our office hours session with a topic, kind of like a topic of the week. And today I kind of wanted to focus on habits that help you relieve stress, because I know that job search is stressful, and we're Work It Daily. We're all about better habits that will help you slowly work your way to your goals and just a better lifestyle as well. So I'm super excited to give you some of those tips, and I would love to hear your tips as well at the end. So start brainstorming there as well. So yeah, if you have a question, please feel free to share it in the chat. Just make sure that you put just put question in front of the actual question, so that way we can find it easier, because we do have a lot of questions coming in every week during office hours. So it just helps us find them easier. And along with that, while I will try to answer all the questions here, we do have a ton of people who join us every week. So I will try my best, but I can't always answer them. So if you want a guaranteed answer, definitely join us inside Work It Daily, where you'll get your answer guaranteed to be answered and responded to within 48 hours or 2 business days. So it's pretty cool. You'll always get it answered. Let's see, what questions we have rolling in here, or get those questions going in your mind. And I'm going to start off by kind of going with this topic, these habits that you can kind of start building to relieve that stress that you're feeling, when you're having a bad day on the job search, and you're just feeling kind of stuck. Obviously, even if you're, generally a very happy and enthusiastic, successful, motivated person, you're always going to have days where you're feeling, stuck and frustrated, especially when you're trying to make a career shift, whether it's trying to find a new job, earn a promotion, change careers. It's always going to present challenges that you're going to have to overcome, even when you're, typically a very happy and stress-free person. So when you have these days, it can feel like a shock sometimes. Like, why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling so frustrated? Why am I having such a bad day? And believe me, you're not alone. Everybody has these days. It happens to everyone. It's normal. But the key to kind of overcoming these days, these situations, is to figure out how to deal with those emotions in a productive way. And that's why we focus on building better, maintainable habits that will help you kind of move forward, as opposed to staying in that stuck period, right? So I don't know about you, but when I'm having a frustrating day, I instantly go to Facebook, or I instantly go and watch TV and sit on the couch, or grab a bowl of ice cream or something. Not the greatest habits to be doing when you're feeling down. Instead, what you should be thinking about, if you're feeling like you want to be doing those types of things, is to figure out replacement habits that will be more productive, that will help you move forward, that will relieve that stress and make you feel happy and feel like you've accomplished something, without just going and sitting on the couch and turning on Frasier, right? So I have a few habits that you can start incorporating into your life whenever you're starting to feel down, frustrated, stressed out, and these are very easy to kind of work into your life, especially when you're having those moments, because the key is to create small habits that you can eventually work, you can turn those into bigger, habits that you incorporate into your life as a whole. But little habits that take 5, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, those are the types of things I want you to start focusing on if you're having these, moments of stress and frustration, right? So now that it's spring, a big one that you should be starting to think about is getting outside, getting active, going for a walk, taking, going for a run, getting some of that fresh air. That's really going to help you boost your mood. It's going to help you feel productive, and you can just throw on your headphones, go and listen to your favorite playlist, or turn on a podcast to feel productive. Get out there, get some fresh air, and think about something else. It's really a great way to take, again, 10 minutes, 30 minutes. To just get your mind off of whatever it is you're feeling, and do something productive that's going to help you kind of push past it and move forward. Okay, so getting outside, getting active, that's a really good one. Go to a yoga class. This is one of my favorite ways to kind of relieve stress, is to just allow yourself to take 45 minutes, an hour, go to a class. You don't have to talk to anybody. You can just kind of go to the class and relax and really get centered while being active at the same time. It's a really great way to disconnect because you can't have your phone on when you go to a yoga class usually. So for me, it's a big thing in terms of relieving stress and frustration and anything like that, because I'm forcing myself to put the phone away. I'm not at my house. I don't have my dog barking in the background. I don't have other things like chores or anything. I have to get out of the house and go to this class. So that's a great thing for me personally. So just go out and go to a class that you feel like, I have to be present in this moment and I can't think about anything else, and I'm just going to focus on this. It's going to help you so much. I know it does for me. So definitely consider doing that. And another thing, and this might sound silly, but decluttering your house, decluttering your life. So I don't know about you guys, but whenever I start feeling the stress coming on, it kind of just starts weighing on me, like slowly. So it's okay that today, and then the next day it's a little bit worse, and then the next day it's, oh my gosh, where did all the stress come from? And you can feel this kind of building, and when you feel that, you can say, okay, well, what's in my environment that I can change to kind of change that feeling? And a big thing is clutter, because when we surround ourselves with clutter, or it just happens, right? We're busy people, we've got things going on, we can't always just take the time to clean, but that clutter is a visual reminder of everything that's not completed or not organized in our lives, and that just kind of weighs on you, right? It makes you feel more frustrated, more stressed. So taking 10 minutes to clean up your desk, to clean out your car, just vacuum out your car, or just clean up the living room, or just declutter. For me personally, it helps immensely. It makes me feel so much better about my situation. I feel productive. I just feel a weight lifted off of my shoulders. And it seems like a little task, but it really truly does work. So if you're feeling like, wow, this stress keeps building, and I'm just having all this anxiety around this whatever situation it is, try taking 10 minutes and cleaning an area of your home or in your car or your desk, and it's really you'll see the change. You'll see how it can affect your mood. And a really big one is when you're feeling frustrated and stressed out, is to talk to a community, talk to those people who understand what you're going through. So, go to people they understand and they're willing to listen. Share why you're feeling stuck, why you're feeling frustrated, chat with others who are going through the same thing and ask for advice. This is a really great idea because you can talk to people who are feeling the same feelings or have felt those same feelings and overcame those feelings. So this is a really key thing if you're feeling frustrated in your job search in particular, because when you're looking for work, if you're unemployed or you're struggling to change careers, or you just can't seem to figure out the job that you're going for, it can feel like you're all alone in this process, right? It feels like you're the only one who's going through this, and it's frustrating and no one understands you, but that's not true at all, right? There are thousands of people out there who are in the same situation as you. And so you just have to find those people who understand what you're going through and who have overcome those situations, those struggles. And I have to say, our community inside Work It Daily has really impressed me, especially in the last few weeks. It's been amazing, the community engagement inside our platform. People are constantly helping each other, explaining what's going on in their career and their job search. And people are jumping in, giving advice, sharing what they're feeling. And it's a really amazing thing to see, because that's, you're not alone, right? You can see all these people in there saying, I just did that. Here's what I did to overcome it. Or this is what I'm feeling. Does anyone have any advice? It's really incredible. So if this is what you're feeling constantly frustrated, stressed out about your job search, know that you're not alone, and go and find a community like Work It Daily and really figure out how to, leverage that so you can, relieve that stress and overcome those barriers, right? Really, really important. Okay, and then finally, something that I typically do is I always have a notebook inside my pocketbook, right? Because if I'm feeling, overwhelmed or unfocused, and it's really holding me back from going and getting my goals, and I'm feeling stuck. It's making me feel stuck because this huge cloud of, overwhelm is just kind of towering over me, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do next. I'll take out my little notebook and I'll write out everything I'm feeling or all the goals that I want to achieve, kind of get them organized and just visually put them on paper. And just doing that, taking 10 minutes to do that, helps immensely, because you get your thoughts on paper. They're no longer stewing up in your brain, and you have a visual representation of, this is what I want to do, this is what's holding me back, and it just kind of helps you get organized and gain that clarity and, get rid of that cloud. So this is something that I do, and I probably find myself writing in there once a week just to get recentered or refocused. So if you're feeling any of these emotions during your job search or, in your career in general, try these tips. I think it's really going to help in terms of like creating those better habits to relieve that stress, that frustration, to get past that period of being stuck. Okay, so I'd love to hear any tips that you guys have, in terms of relieving your stress, getting rid of that frustration. Please feel free to share it in the chat. And there's one thing I wanted to keep in mind before we move on to questions, is that the point of all this is to just, allow yourself to take a positive action, even if it's small, okay? And build off of that. It's going to start off as a small action. It's going to slowly turn into a little habit that you do every day. And slowly it's going to work its way into being something much bigger and better and more positive, okay? Action creates motivation. And it's all about creating those habits. And it has to start little by little. And eventually you'll gain skills, you'll gain strength, and you'll gain confidence in yourself. And soon those little actions are really going to pay off, okay? So tell me, what do you do to like alleviate your stress, get rid of that frustration, get past that feeling of being stuck? I just want to know. If you want to share in the chat, that would be excellent. Okay. All right, let's see what we have for questions here. Ooh, very busy. Comments. Want to say thanks for providing the Hunter.io site for finding emails a few weeks ago. It's been very helpful. Oh, that's so great, Christine. Yes, it is a great resource. It doesn't always find the right emails, but it's definitely such a great tool. And because you don't have really other platform to go and find any emails for companies. So it's definitely a great tool. So for those of you who don't know what Hunter.io is, it's a website that will allow you to find a list of emails that have existed in the past or were active in the past, and that are currently active. So if you're trying to find an email address for the XYZ department, you can go on there and look for that, or the HR manager or the recruiting person. There's always a chance that it's listed on there. It's a really great tool. Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Christine. Great. All right, let's see. All right. Okay, question. Can you email an employer regarding a position you have not heard when you have not heard from them in 30 days? Absolutely. So typically what we say is that when you apply for a job, you should follow up within a week or two just to check in, see if they need anything else from you at this point in the process, ask to make sure that they got your materials and everything, to just kind of touch base. And then unless you hear back from them and you have specific instructions on when to follow up, when they'll be in touch, that kind of thing, you would follow up 2 weeks after that. Okay, so I think 30 days, unless they said, we'll be in touch in a month or so, it seems a very long process. I would definitely touch base and say, hi, I just want to remind you that I applied for this X, Y, and Z position. Just want to see if there's anything else I can do at this point in the process to further my candidacy. If so, please let me know. It's a good way to check in, be polite, explain that you're willing to give them anything else that they need at this point, and just see where it goes. You might not get a response, but it's always worth a try. The other thing that you should consider is to start networking your way into that organization if you haven't already. So start connecting with people who are working in the department of the job that you applied for, and just say, hey, look, I'm a big fan of your organization, and I'd love to learn more about it. Would love to connect. Just kind of getting in there and starting conversations and building relationships with people within the organization can really help you move forward in that process. The key in that situation though is to not ask for anything. Like, don't go and say, hey, I applied for this job and I just wanted to see if you could pass along my resume. Obviously I don't think you would do that, but just something to keep in mind. Always just focus on your conversation, learning more, learn about them, learn about their work, why they like working there, learn about the company. Really focus on building that relationship and having that conversation as opposed to, asking for something. Okay. All right. Question. I feel like I have non-transferable skills. Can the program help? So I'm going to stop you right there. Everyone has transferable skills. You might not realize it until you see them, but everybody has transferable skills. You might have some industry-specific skills that you've gained over the course of your career, which is great. You have expertise in an industry, but you definitely have transferable skills, whether it's project management, public speaking, customer service. There's a whole list of transferable skills that you don't realize that you have until you see them on paper. Okay, so we actually have a really great resource inside one of our courses that outlines a bunch of transferable skills. We have a skills table, and it just gives some examples of what those transferable skills are, and what you should be thinking about, and how they can apply to various industries. But the key is to just think about skill sets that they can apply to various industries, they can apply to various jobs, but you definitely have them, guaranteed. Team management, business operations, things like that. Those are all transferable skills. So if you can't, you should definitely try Googling, seeing a list of transferable skills just to get started, because I guarantee you're going to look at that list and say, I have that skill, and that skill, and I can put those on my resume. Okay, but definitely consider joining us inside Work It Daily, because we have a whole module in one of our courses that goes over that. Okay, great question. All right. Okay, question. As a techie, how do I prepare for an interview with a non-technical director and other higher up managers? So great question. So the key is to not just spew jargon, right? This, it might sound like, yeah, like I sound like I know what I'm talking about, but if they don't understand what you're saying, it's not really going to help you at all. So you really have to break it down for them. And obviously don't be condescending, but say like, give them an example of your expertise and just explain to them in layman's terms, how it will benefit them, or what the results were, or why it mattered, right? So thinking about your projects in the past, your accomplishments, explain what happened, but just say, essentially, this is what happened, and this is why it mattered. So you can break it down in your technical, definition, or you can break down a project and, using your terms or whatever if you want to. But then just essentially say, essentially what I mean is that this is what happened, and these are the results I got, and this is why it mattered, right? So it's really important to obviously not just spew a ton of technical jargon out. When it presents itself, like when you need to, obviously, feel free to do that. But if you feel like you can see their eyes glazing over, or they're losing interest, or they look confused, take a step back and say, so by this, I mean this, okay? So that way, you're respecting them, you're telling them, that you can see those cues and say, okay, well, maybe I need to break this down a little bit further. But, that way you can still kind of showcase your technical expertise while getting through to them that you know what you're talking about and they understand what you're talking about and why it matters. I hope that helps. All right. Let's see. Question. How do you deal with the stress of waiting for the final offer once you're done with all interviews? Sometimes that can also take a couple of weeks. Absolutely. So again, find ways to be productive. Go for a walk, make it a habit, daily walks, daily runs, talk to your community, express what you're feeling, ask for tips and advice. I think a big thing is to keep going, keep applying to other opportunities. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket. Stay productive. Keep researching companies. Figure out which ones really resonate with you. and start networking or continue networking into those organizations. Continue your conversations. That's the best thing you can do, because the last thing you want to do is what we call have a job crush and put all of your eggs in one basket, wait for this final offer, and then it doesn't come, and then you have to start from square one. Even if it's very promising and you think you're going to get it, you always want to keep your efforts moving forward in other areas. Okay, and I think the best thing in this situation is to really focus on your networking efforts, networking and branding efforts. Okay, because that way you're still moving forward with your job search, but you're not committing to anything, but you're still kind of building roots with your network. You're still focusing on your branding so you can market yourself effectively to employers and other professionals, but definitely still take steps to keep moving forward in other directions in the event that this one doesn't work out. That way you feel productive and you're not just sitting there thinking about, if it's going to happen or when it's going to happen. You're constantly, doing other things and keeping your mind off of just waiting and just thinking about it. It's really important. If you feel like you're just sitting there and letting things stew in your brain, you have to get out and do something productive, whether it's network, focus on your branding efforts, go out for a walk, declutter your house. It's really important for you to kind of get out there and not just sit on the couch and wait. Okay, so I hope that helps. But everyone, please feel free to share tips that have worked for you in terms of, waiting for that offer or dealing with those stressful situations. Okay. All right. Question: how do you gracefully defer the salary question? Okay, so salary is always such a tricky thing, because if you say the wrong number, you can either sell yourself short or you can price yourself out of the opportunity. And so it's a kind of a tricky question to answer. With that said, if you're asked to give a salary range or a number, you always want to give that, because think about if you walk into a store and you're buying a product, a vacuum cleaner, let's just say, and it's a really nice vacuum cleaner and you think it's the perfect thing for your home. Okay, and then the salesperson walks up to you and gives you information, and then when you ask for the price, they tell you not to worry about it. And that just frustrates you as a customer, because you want to know if this is even in your budget to get before you commit to it. So the same thing happens when you're talking with hiring managers and recruiters. They might have a budget that they need to work with. They might need to have this information in order to move you forward. Okay, so you don't want to just kind of deflect. You really want to do your homework in this case. So go to Glassdoor, PayScale, Salary.com, and before your phone screen, you really want to have this information available to you. You want to understand what is the range, the salary range for this type of job in this location that you're applying for. So that way you have a general idea of what that competitive salary range looks like. So that way you can say, I'm looking for a salary between this and this based on my research, and that way you at least have a number to give them, so they understand that you're not just gonna go back into your salary history and say, well, I'm expecting the same amount of money that I made in my last job, right? Or that you're not just throwing out a random number that there's nothing to support why you should get that money. It's really important that you do that research. So those three resources, Glassdoor, Salary.com, PayScale.com, those are great places to do that research, so that way you have a number in mind and you can work with a recruiter there. Okay, so we actually have a really great salary negotiation course inside Work It Daily. So definitely consider checking that out, because it's really detailed in terms of starting the whole process of applying and answering on job applications up until negotiating and getting the offer. Okay, so definitely consider that. All right. All right, question. I'm currently going into final round interviews with a potential employer, and I'm awaiting to hear next steps from another potential employer. How do I tactfully nudge them? Great question. So if you're juggling offers, or you have an offer and you really want the one that you don't have quite yet, but you think you're going to get, you can essentially just send that employer an email and just say, hi, I just wanted to let you know that I'm really excited about this opportunity, but I want to let you know that I have received an offer, and they need to know if I want to accept by this date. However, this is really truly the opportunity that I want. In fact, it's my dream opportunity, and I really would prefer to work for your organization. So I was wondering if there was any way to expedite this process, so I can potentially work here or something, instead, just kind of nudge them along, just explain that you got another offer and that you really want to work for this opportunity, this company instead. It's your dream opportunity. So just ask if there's any way to expedite the process, because you do want to work here and that you would love to find a way to contribute using your skills and expertise. Okay, that's just a nice polite way to kind of give them a nudge and say, hey, don't want to put the pressure on, but I really want to work for your organization. Is there any way we can move this forward? And we have all kinds of templates for conversations like this, emails like this inside Work It Daily. If you ever have a hard time kind of figuring out what to say, we have all this inside Work It Daily for almost any situation. Okay, so keep that in mind for sure. But that's the best way to kind of go about this. All right. All right, let's see here. Question, should you attempt to network or ask for informational interviews at companies where you have applied online and have been rejected for positions? Absolutely, absolutely. So you should absolutely start networking your way into these organizations, start building relationships, get people, get to know the people who work there, because honestly, if you're applying online, there's a good chance that a human actually didn't even see your resume before it was, rejected. Could have been rejected by the ATS, that filtering system. And, you don't want to just leave it up to that. If you were rejected when you applied online, don't kind of take that as a invitation to never apply again, right? So someone might not have seen it, maybe it just wasn't the right opportunity. But the thing is, if you go into the companies that you are targeting, and you can establish relationships with people within that company, and ask for introductions, get to know more people. We call this company bucket list bingo, and you get to know these people. When you apply for an opportunity that's really a truly good fit, and you're being considered, people might be able to vouch for you. They might be able to say, hey, this person reached out and they seem really like a really good fit. Or they might even refer you to an opportunity. They might recommend you to people. So it's really important that you focus on those networking strategies and those habits, honestly, so that way you can kind of build those roots within those organizations. And just because you weren't accepted for a job doesn't mean that there isn't an opportunity there for you necessarily. Okay, so definitely focus on those informational interviews. They're really key. Great. All right. All right, question. I've worked contract jobs for years and years now, but have been wanting to find a stable full-time job with a stable company, not just through a staffing company. How do I redo my resume? Great question. So what you're going to want to do is essentially list these jobs as individual positions, even if they're contract jobs, but focus on the most relevant jobs to the opportunities that you want to get. Put those in your work history. Everything else can go in your additional experience section. Okay, so think about the roles that really lend those, think about the skill sets that you need to be showcasing that relate to that opportunity, and that support that service that you provide as an employee, and put those in your work history and list them in chronological order. Focus on accomplishments that support those skill sets that you're trying to leverage, and then put everything else in your additional experience section. If you have a long list, anything in your additional experience section, you can just remove bullet points and just list them out if you want to. But honestly, it's all about focusing on the right, most relevant information, skill sets, accomplishments. And that's really going to help you kind of market yourself. But again, it really all comes back down to that networking. You know, if you have a resume that you feel like, you know, it makes you look like a job hopper, or you don't stay in opportunities that long, you know, you're probably not wrong that employers might be scared to look at this, because they're, you know, why didn't you stay in this opportunity? Why haven't you had a full-time opportunity? That's not always the case, but if you have people within the organization who can vouch for you, can recommend you for opportunities based on, you know, their experience with you, and you know, it can really help you land those opportunities, despite, you know, a work history that might be a little bit more just a little bit more, I don't know what the word is, but just doesn't have as much consistency as you'd like. Okay, so focusing on that networking, but then just organizing your work history so it really focuses on that relevant experience and those accomplishments and skills, putting everything else in additional experience. And we have some great templates inside Work It Daily that can really help you with that. Okay, awesome. All right, well, I can't believe it's already 1:30. So I'm going to have to sign off, but thank you guys so much for joining me today. Hope today's session was helpful, and we are here every Wednesday. Me and JT O'Donnell will switch off every week to do these 30-minute office hour sessions, so definitely tune in next week if you have more questions or didn't get yours answered. Okay? All right, well, thanks everyone, and have a great rest of your